and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Oh no, things are not looking good for Kamala. Things are not looking good for Joe. Their approval rating and confidence is hitting an all-time low amongst Americans. First, let's start off with everybody's favorite vice president, Kamala Harris. Oh, wait, that's not the case at all. Turns out, Vice President Kamala Harris has a problem. Poll: Kamala Harris sets record low for Vice President net favorability. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Kamala Harris, her campaign in 2020 started off with a bang. To be fair, it was given a lot of hype. The media was praising her. Everyone was hoping that she would be the Democrats' next big thing until she was torpedoed by Tulsi Gabbard, as well as eventually having her own campaign go belly up. So again, let's check this out. Nearly half of the respondents have a negative view of Vice President Kamala Harris, according to a new NBC News survey. A poll published on Monday found that 49% of respondents have a negative opinion of Harris, while 32% of those surveyed have a positive opinion of the vice president. Harris received a net negativity rating of negative 17, which is the lowest net negative rating for a vice president in the history of the poll. You know what that means? That means when Biden was vice president, he was more popular than her. That means Mike Pence was more popular than her. That means Dick Cheney was more popular than her. That means Al Gore was more popular than her. And all four of those people I just mentioned, including our current president, Joe Biden, are mediocre. They have no ability to inspire others. And a lot of them are just straight up scumbags. And the fact that they're more popular than Harris, it really says a lot about her and her administration. And again, she has a record of people leaving her office. She's hemorrhaging staff members left, right, up, and down. That's been an ongoing thing for her entire time as being vice president in the Biden-Harris administration. Case in point, for example, in October of 2019, oh, what an innocent year that was, 38% of respondents had a negative view of Harris' predecessor, former Vice President Pence, while 34% of those surveyed had a positive view of the now Republican presidential candidate, according to the poll. The poll comes as White House officials have been working with Harris to repair her image and bump up her polling numbers ahead of the 2024 election, according to Axios. White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients told the media outlet that he meets with Harris on a weekly basis to discuss ways to tout her policy ideas and leadership. Oh, that must be so uncomfortable. That must be like pulling teeth. She's probably laughing and cackling the whole way. You know what Tulsi Gabbard said about that laughing? That it's a sign of her being Kamala Harris being nervous. It's like a nervous tick. She's not all there upstairs. And Kamala knows that she's not really fit for that office. It's true. In fact, let's have democracy in the chat. And I'm not being mean, because we all have issues. But I at least expect mental stability in the people who are in key positions of power. Yes, I keep my standards high, as I should, as should all of you. Type 1. If you think, no, kid, Kamala Harris laughing, that's not a nervous tick. That's who she is. That's Kamala. Everyone get ready to laugh. Type 2, like, no, there's something wrong. It's a defense mechanism. It's a nervous tick of hers because she knows she's not qualified. I wonder how many 2s we're going to get. I wonder how many. Current Chief of Staff of Education, Secretary Miguel Cardona, Sheila Nix, is set to join President Biden's re-election campaign team as a chief of staff to Harris. Oh, good luck. The vice president is expected to be a key player in the 2024 campaign trail. Oh, goodness gracious. It's going to be bad. Biden announced in April that he plans to run for re-election in 2024, with the cuck Bernie Sanders obviously endorsing him right away. Amid weeks of speculation, Biden has faced questions about his age and whether he is up for a full campaign season and a second term as president. And look, to quote Nikki Haley, that bloodthirsty warmonger, which is what she is, a vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. Biden will be the oldest sitting president in U.S. history. And anything could happen to him. Because check this out. Poll. 68% of voters have worries about Biden's mental and physical health. And I want to have democracy in the chat again. Type 3 if you're not concerned about Biden's age. Like, no, Kit, he's got this in the bag, man. What's wrong with you, you ageist bastard? Type 4, like, no, I am worried. He's showing signs of dementia and Alzheimer's. Type 4 if you're worried about that. If you're concerned about Biden and his mental health. I mean, you don't have, it's not concern of like, oh, I'm concerned about Biden. It's like, oh, holy cow, we got Mr. Magoo at the wheel of the car. So poll 68% of voters have worries about Biden's mental and physical health. So here we go. Recent national NBC News poll has some decent news for Joe Biden, despite the survey showing him with an overall approval rating remaining in the low 40s among registered voters. Biden leads Donald Trump, by 4 points nationally in a hypothetical matchup, which is the most identical to his popular vote win in 2020. His unfavor rating in the poll of 39% positive, 48% negative is higher than Trump's 34 positive, 56% negative. And just like in 2020, Biden is ahead among independents in his matchup against Trump. Yet here's the bad news for the president. 68% of all voters say they have concerns about Biden having the necessary mental and physical health to be president, including 55% who say they have major concerns. By comparison, 55% of voters say they have concerns about Trump's mental and physical health, including 44% who have major concerns. Again, people are worried about Biden. And at this point in time right now, Biden knows he is weak. He is weak. Kamala knows that she is weak. But on top of all of that, adding that all together, they're sucking up to the Democratic establishment and trying to play, well, a lot of compromising games with other key leaders in the Democratic Party. Case in point, probably the one person has more president than has more power than President Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, and that is Joe Manchin. If you ever want to see the image of what it looks like to see a quote-unquote leader suck up to another person, check out this video from Case Study QB. Please be sure to follow him on Twitter, because unfortunately, folks, what we have here is an administration that is at the beck and call of people like Joe Manchin.
They've shown some desperation today, I understand.
Election desperation, Laura. He's clearly worried about talk of Senator Joe Manchin running on a third-party ticket. Democrats are trying to discourage that run, and the president was sucking up hard in the East Room today.
That's a terrible way to word it, but here's the thing, folks. I've watched this video. Biden is literally on his knees, sucking up to Joe Manchin. It's just that bad. Viewer discretion should have been advised.
I like the fact Joe Manchin stands in all this time. He's a friend. And I want to thank, and I mean it sincerely, Joe Manchin of West Virginia was here with us today as well.
Next, we'll be having a Rose Garden event in honor of Cornel West. You know, my brother Cornel is here. I mean it sincerely. Look, I'm wearing a scarf, Cornel. Anytime Biden says, I mean it sincerely, he probably doesn't. He's made similar comments before.
And I mean it sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law. I want to compliment all those mainstream Republicans. I mean, if they get in, they fought like we usually fight.
You know?
Oh, man. Joe, Kamala, we know you're not popular, but Jesus Christ, have some dignity. Have some dignity. Stand up for yourself, at least.
Oh, Laura, anytime he says, I mean it, he's worried. And he's worried about Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is the honorary chair of that No Labels group. They have a lot of money, and Manchin has till January to declare whether he's going to run for the Senate or
Never going to happen.
Run.
Well, Joe Biden double-crossed him on that drilling, remember, but it's never going to happen.
Again, this is the state of our entire democracy right now, our quote-unquote republic. We have two leaders, Biden and Harris. Their approval rating is in the dumps. Americans are not confident in this administration. And yet you're going to have people like this, like Cenk Uygur, who want to, tell you, well, obviously, anyone else in the Democratic primary is a right winger. And let's face it, RFK Jr.'s campaign has been gaining a lot of momentum. And there's some chance that he's in the wrong primaries, which again leads me to this conclusion. Get ready for him to get that little fancy Katzenberg cash. And hey, everyone, get ready for Cenk to start telling you to vote for Biden so we can hold his feet to the fire. That would be wonderful, right? That's what Cenk Uygur and all the vote blue, no matter who sycophants are going to tell you to do. Now, again, this is still early numbers, and Joe Biden is at the same kind of rating against Trump as he was in 2020. That's not a good thing. It means nothing fundamentally changed, and Americans are not really so keen to the idea of Trump versus Biden again. We saw what it was like to see two old men fight for a cold bowl of soup. That cold bowl of soup being America. And a vote for Biden is a vote for Harris, unfortunately. Why did it get this bad? How could it come to this? And the answer is simple. We have legalized bribery and corruption. We've allowed dynastic political families to dictate the rules, all the while screwing us over and working day and night to appease the top 1%. This election cycle is a chance for voters, and I hope independents, to make sure that their voices are heard. Nothing's going to get better if we continue to comply with the two-party system. Nothing will fundamentally change unless we start stepping up. Because these approval ratings for Kamala and Biden are getting lower and lower. People see it. People know there's something wrong with Biden. People know that there's something wrong with Harris. We see how this administration works. They haven't delivered on any of their promises to progressives or anyone on the left. So what is our incentive to vote for an old man and his crazy cackling vice president? There is none. There is no reason to vote for the Democratic Party. And there sure as hell isn't a reason to vote for the Republican Party. Independents, make your voices heard.